All right, as always, a lot of garbage to swim through, and we're gonna swim hard. Um, I shared something that I always want to get your thoughts on, see what you think. With the Trump mobilizing the National Guard into certain states, and I think I wrote when I shared this like, "F, this is bad." That's all I wrote, which I
Yeah.
didn't really know what I was thinking there. Don't really know what to derive from that. But I followed up on the article and I read some of the stuff you wrote too, which is like there is a way to sidestep to do this, and then they probably do it in Republican states because they're still under state authority. But obviously, Republican governors will just be like, what do you want to do, Trump? We'll just tell them what you want to do. So I get that. I more wanted to focus on, and there's a lot more to say even about like how I feel about this or whatever, but I wanted to focus on like why they're doing this and what's their justification. And we all know it's crime, right? Did I read that? Did you also read this and have some thoughts and like took away crime?
Yeah. Crime and assisting ICE, essentially.
Yeah, but they don't say they're gonna assist ICE, right? What they do is they say, "Oh, there's this crime and it needs to like we have to like do this,"
Yes.
and then they just
Yeah.
when they're there they don't do shit. But yeah, assist ICE, which I think is correct. But it just sucks because obviously not everybody gives a shit about data and data collection, but everywhere you look, like crime spiked a little bit in 2020 for I think obvious reasons in my mind. And then it's been coming down ever
Sure.
since, and it's at all-time lows on the same trajectory of like the last 40 years since we got rid of leaded gas. So you do the math, whoever the fuck is listening to this. But anyways, just sucks because they're just the crime, it's just not a thing. And so, that's where ultimately I feel not good about this because they're just, and we'll say it all the time here in our discussions. There's no end if they're just willing to just do something that obviously makes no sense and is a lie to just be able to get people places. I just don't know. I shouldn't say there's no end. We don't have to fearmonger about it too much, but there's more that they would do. You would think, right?
As far as
Just militarizing
what?
streets anywhere, however they want, looking for whatever they want to look for.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great precedent to set, that's for sure. Especially because, and I posted that Substack article where it was just
Yeah.
sort of a brief snapshot of when the National Guard has been federalized before. And there's definitely a lot of incidents where you understand the necessity for it. Actually, most of them you kind of understand the necessity for it, especially because at these points the president actually had to federalize the National Guard, whereas what Trump is doing is he's kind of
Yeah.
federalizing it, but not really.
Right.
It was definitely necessary. Whereas in this case, I don't know. I mean, if you have a problem with crime in states, like, wouldn't you work to change the law if you think that that's what's failing you, rather than just mobilize the military to just roll jeeps around city streets? I don't know. It's not a great precedent. Why aren't you working with the police in those particular states then to change stuff? Why are the Guardsmen necessary? And I'm kind
Too many
of more and more on
questions.
the side of, what's that?
Too many questions. Too many questions, dude.
Well, I'm kind of more and more on the side of this is a distraction from Epstein. Now, there could be people like Stephen Miller, who I'm absolutely certain has some part in this, all this fuckery, that have more nefarious intentions. But I feel like Trump loves this because A, it makes him look tough on crime, and B, he gets to just distract further from the very big story that wouldn't go away a few weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, speculating where I think this comes from, Epstein, dude, I think Trump thinks he's untouchable. I don't think he gives a shit about Epstein. I don't think he cares.
You don't think he was sweating that at all?
No, he doesn't give a fuck. He can get away with whatever he wants. He just got a civil $500 million case, which was a cut and dry case. There's actual evidence of deep fraud. Just tossed out. Like, he thinks he can get away with anything, man. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that. Why would he be scared of anything at all?
So what do you think his intentions is with this? Because you don't. Do you think
he's asleep at the wheel? He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. I'm kind of open to the idea that he might run again because he can do whatever he wants. But I think at this point he'll still step aside. He doesn't care. He doesn't have to do anything anymore. And then the Stephen Millers and whoever else is in there cook up this idea to make it easier to deport people and to get those numbers up. So I'm with you from where you said in the beginning. And that's what it is. But and Trump
so you're saying,
yeah, go ahead. Trump is outsourcing everything. He fucking doesn't give a shit.
Sure. So he's just co-signing this. This isn't his brainchild. He is just
I'm sure they still got to come across with him, come across to him about it. But I mean, Trump knows how to not bite the hand that feeds. He knows what's
like you're saying. They still have to. So you think they're feeding him a narrative for him to just co-sign whatever the fuck they're doing?
Correct. Because ultimately, Stephen Miller is a racist bastard, and whoever else is doing this, they just want to throw people out. Yeah.
Stephen Miller is a skinwalker. He has snatched somebody's body, and he's just the fucking. Have you ever watched him give an interview? I watched him give an interview on Fox News a few days ago, and it's
very uncomfortable. I don't do that. I avoid that.
He looks like somebody pretending to be a person. He looks like somebody pretending to be a person. I don't understand it.
I saw his wife watch the podcast. We wish her well, but it's very uncomfortable. So yeah, that's just that's where I'm at with this. It's just Trump doesn't care. He's just like, go ahead. What I'm kind of confused about is, in my theory, why doesn't he think of any risks? I don't know. I think he just doesn't care so much. I don't know.
Trump?
Yeah.
Well, if what you're saying is true, there is no risk. Nobody's going to do anything about the bullshit that he's doing.
Yes, that's true. I guess risk in terms of how he looks, he'll always care about that, and what his legacy is, he'll always care about that. I don't.
Yeah, but
I guess
his supporters. He's so balls deep on his supporters, they can always justify what they're doing. They can always justify it. Like I told you, I think I wrote here in this the little blurb I had, because I see a lot of MAGAs they're elated by this. They love that they're rolling around in DC and arresting people for smoking in public.
MAGAs are unserious people. Trump could do something, and any Democrat could do the exact same thing, and they would say, "Oh, that's bad." They're not serious, right? So that's why.
And I don't think they care that inconsistency exists either. They don't care. To
why
them,
would they?
MAGA is a means to an end. So if we do what we have to do, and it's clearly unconstitutional, it doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
Which is, it's just crazy. Because you're just setting yourself up for the next blue president, if that ever happens, to just steamroll you under these same powers. I don't know in what, shape or form that would look like, but...
Yeah, I look forward
to... Obviously not going to be the National Guard. Yeah, go ahead.
I look forward to a MAGA getting triggered by that and in the comments being like, I have principles, I have the Bible. Okay, sure.
So let me ask you this then. If this is the brainchild of Stephen Miller, what's his end game here? Is this just setting a precedent?
What is his end game? There's a bunch of documentaries on him, like I think independent media done online. I've never really watched one. I have seen clips of him over the years where he's in high school being the same ghoul, saying the same ghoulish things. I've seen that.
True.
So I don't know. I just think he's a racist. I haven't heard of any other reason to implement a strategy that would get non-criminal immigrants thrown out, especially ones who participate. It's said time and time again. Why are we throwing out people who do not have a criminal history and participate in society in positive, meaningful ways? Why would you do that? Because racist.
It's the great replacement, right? Yeah.
Because you're right. Because you're a fucking racist.
It's the great replacement. Yeah.
Right.
I do think Stephen Miller is very clear in his end game. He is just a Timu Joseph Goebbels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do you think that if this is him pushing this, what is the end game? Like, what is the chess move here? What is this for? Because this is just so unnecessary, and there's not a lot of precedent for this.
I just think he blindly believes in his beliefs so much. But you're right. But then that begs the question again, like, It couldn't just
What
be
does
that
this
he's racist
accomplish?
then. Yeah, what? Because like, I mean, of course, we're missing the one thing that's always obvious with anybody. Just self-promotion and being famous and being involved in these decisions could drive your ego. Jesus, can I just use the... I mean, I'm a smooth brain too, homie. But your ego, right? He gets to participate in the government.
Making
be
history.
high up. Well, and, you know, some people just want to make history, whether it's good or bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, I've just
It
seen
is
a lot of
strange to think
speculation
about,
that
though.
this is setting the precedent for having military in U.S. streets, like city streets. And obviously, that's a little tinfoil hat, because people are like,
Not
well,
in the sense
when
that they'll
Trump...
help ICE out. Not in the sense that they'll help ICE out. I don't think.
No, they're saying in the sense of when Trump declares martial law and suspends election.
I
You
don't
have...
know. That's
Right.
Why would they push for the next topic then? And we'll get there. Why would they care if that was the plan? I guess you don't you don't want to look like it, but yeah, I don't know about that.
And it's just funny
I will
too,
say
because...
I don't ever write anything off with this again, administration, but I don't think anyone should.
Well, especially if
I
it's
don't
Stephen
feel
Miller.
like
I think if Stephen Miller of the
Sure.
world would be perfectly happy to completely subvert democracy in the United States. He would be happy to do that if you gave him the power. Day one, he's doing that. He is that kind of person.
Again, in service of what? Just because you're racist? That feels too simple, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. He
Feels
wants...
too simple. Oh,
he-
ego for sure too. But go ahead. Sorry, we talked about this.
I think in his perfect world, we live under a Christian theocracy, and the
That's
majority
so
of
weird.
the
Is he
population
religious?
is white European.
Yeah. I mean, you
No,
don't have to
but
be religious to be a freaking white nationalist. You know what I'm saying? You do not.
even if he wasn't religious at all, he's the type of person that believes in, Christianity underpins the moral fabric of the West, and we have to subscribe to
Go off, Jordan Peterson. But yeah, you're right.
hierarchy and systems of power, and it's the only thing that orients us in space and
guess
how to
so.
move forward through history and time. He 100% is co-signing all of that for sure, especially because it gives him, more power to be racist. Because if you can capture the evangelical right in this country, you can flex a lot of power.
Yeah. It's always fascinating thinking about people's motivations and wondering what they are. So, yeah.
All right,
it's not a
I'm
great
just
dig
trying
on
to make...
ghouls, but I saw something too. It was like some headline. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was like Kamala said Trump police in streets.
Strats?
Dude,
Dude, he's struggling. He's
dude, 100%, 100%.
struggling. Long day.
I just saw this meme and I didn't fact check it because sorry, I'm me. Go fact check your own stuff, MAGA. Absolute drooling pieces. Anyways,
Go fact yourself. Yep.
Kamala said some offhand stupid comment at the time during the campaign, oh, Trump's gonna put police people in the streets and some sort of comment like that. And someone wrote an article at the time, probably immediately after she said it, and was like, what a lie this is. This isn't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of shit like that for this and all kinds of stuff. Not
well,
that
technically she was wrong, because he's putting military in the streets, so it's even worse.
Sure, it's the other way. It's actually worse. Worse.
Which,
Not
to
great.
the surprise
Not
of
great.
nobody, by the way, that Trump is worse this time around.
No, 100%. 100%.
Certainly not with me, I suppose I should say.
Yeah, we just got to sign off on this. I feel like every time on this with
Well,
you know what? I'm going to take a brave stance here. I'm going to take a brave stance. Are you ready?
Do it.
Even if there's a
Do it,
criminal
brother.
history, as long as it's non-violent and they work or they have family here or they whatever cultural relevance they might have, then don't deport them. That's dumb. That's
Sure.
dumb. So, brave stance because we have a lot of xenophobic folks out there. I see you. I see you. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is the real conversation needs to be had about the process
Yeah.
of coming into this country legally.
Sure.
Because I was kind of trolling you the other day a little bit, but there is some truth to the idea
Go
that
ahead.
if you are in this country working as an illegal, you are you're just open for work abuse. Very easily.
True. From a
Because
workers'
all it takes is
rights
one phone call.
perspective, that is correct. But also, and I've told you this in the past, balance that with that risk, and even with that risk, they make more money than where they came from, right? So it's a complicated world.
100%.
It's a complicated world.
Yeah, I mean...
But you're right. You're right. If you're willing to work, you should have guaranteed rights. That goes for any human being, in my mind. That is correct.
It's funny. It's funny you say that too, because when I had texted you that, trolling you about
I trolled you back,
workers'
probably,
rights abuse,
but sure.
you did, you did. But that's the point.
I remember this. But go ahead, yeah.
I then started Googling like articles about, worker abuse for illegals in the U.S. and the best I could find, which to be fair is not nothing, but people obviously with no protection. So if you get hurt on the job, like that's just it for you. But it had mentioned in the article they made somewhere along the lines of $15 an hour, which has to still be far and away way more money than where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So even being exploited in this country is still more lucrative than...
That's higher minimum wage than a lot of states. Now, that doesn't mean it's an actual wage that a lot of people get paid at, because there's so much pressure on getting paid more. You can only do so much if you don't want to... I mean, you're still destroying and tarnishing workers' rights because you're scum and you're not paying enough, but yeah, minimum wage is like, I think it's still $7.25 technically in some places, which is wild. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I guess my point was more, if you're from Colombia and you're here legally, even if you have no workers' rights, no protection, but you're making $15 an hour, you're still making out way better than you would at home. You know what I mean? So...
True.
But anyways,
and I think too that angle is not to say that people should be like deported because they're working here illegally. That's not right. That's not what you're saying. You're just saying that's a different way of thinking about.
Well, I'm saying the real conversation to have is how do you figure out people working here legally easier?
People who participate, I think. And look, dude, any person who's good faith, whether or not they're left or right, would give you, I would think, generally the same answer, where it's like, you need to have a robust legal immigration system that it brings in, like, at least enough people that we're replacing, like, population. Like, not even replacing population, but continuing growth, because that'll just help the economy. It just does. I'm not going to sit here and be a capitalistic... get out there, produce people. That's not me at all. I'm just saying, like, you do that, but you also, like, do better with the border. Like, secure it more in a realistic way. Not a fucking wall, but with technology. Like, what are we doing here? Stupid-ass wall, painting it black, and then putting that shit all over, like, the press leads. Like, who gives a crap? Like, what?
What a waste of fucking money, by the way. What an absolute
And then, by the way,
waste
you
of
also...
money.
I don't mind, like... it gets a little tricky saying this because it's definitely like against my libertarian feelings, but I don't mind like trying to find those after you do both those things. If you shore that up a little more, and you're very liberal with your immigration flow, enough so that you can continue reasonable growth in society. I don't mind going and finding the ones that did get in here illegally before, but if they're contributing or culturally relevant in any way, like, you make them actual citizens, man. And then you get rid of the violent ones. That's all wrapped up in a fucking gumdrops and rainbows world, but like, find me anyone who's in good faith going to listen to that and be like, "Oh, I don't like that." It's like, who's going to... Nobody. That's what you should do.
I don't know.
We can quibble over how much liberalism on the immigration flow you want. I would be very high, but go ahead.
Sure. I think what most people would agree with would be to give them easier, like, visa access at the least. I don't know if you'd find a lot of people agreeing with them becoming citizens. That's definitely not
just more people who are coming and contributing their skills to our society in positive ways. That's good. And by the way, when I say skills, some people are weird about it and they only want higher level people. No, people are more than welcome to come and do any level, because if you work, that's a skill. I don't care how stupid your job is. If you work, that's good in general. Come on now. We're not shaming non-workers. We get it on certain things. But Yeah, if you work, that's good. So I don't give a fuck. Just figure it out. This reminds me of the conversation we had about like everybody wants a more efficient government. Even like I would assume most leftists. It just depends on how you do it, how you frame it, what you're doing. It's like if I can have less workers deliver the same amount of benefits, now we're just passing more on to the benefits, which you should be trying to do in the first place. What are we doing here? Anyways, common sense doesn't matter. Nobody cares. All right.
The world is a loss. This is a fallen world. You've heard it here first.
There you go.
Sponsored by A Fallen World.
Oh, yeah, and then here's Brendan's Substack where he talked about those presidents in the past that used the National Guard. Hey, we wish... Actually, we don't. We wish Trump to hell.
Oh, you should read that. Oh,
I did.
Who is this? You know who this is?
I don't know. Who's Brendan? I don't know. Brendan
Oh, you were just saying that tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, it says Brendan's Substack at the top. That's why. It's not tongue-in-cheek. It's Brendan
yeah.
top,
I
dude.
see. I thought
What are
you
we
knew
doing
he
here?
was like leaning. I don't know. I thought you knew
I
him
did scroll
somehow.
down and you probably didn't see. No, I did say it like that, but that's the man calls it his name. So
You should read that actually when you get a minute. It's pretty interesting, the history of...
I read it, at least a few of them. I think up to...
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so you kind of get the vibes of like...
Oh, yeah.
I get when this would be necessary, and all the more reason why what Trump is doing now is absurd.
Again, it's all about...
And
What are
also
we talking
before-
about? What are we talking about, especially when it comes to free speech even? It's all about non-violence. If violence starts to happen, it's unacceptable. If people are dying, that's unacceptable. Like, something has to be done. So
Sure.
that's the vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's funny to me that they're saying they're there to assist with... The National Guard is there to assist with ICE, because they just gave ICE just an absolute bullshit mountain of money. Why do they need the fucking National Guard?
No, I'm
you
glad you
have
brought that
all
up.
the money you could ever need.
Yeah, I'm glad you
somebody
slipped
mentioned
that in
that
right at
the
Yeah.
that ICE now has a bigger budget than the Marines do.
Yeah, they do.
Which is
They had like an $8 billion before, and then they were given like 160 in the BBB. And now it's probably spread out over years, but they were given an absurd amount of money. It doesn't matter. Let's not even split hairs about it. An absurd amount of money. So it's just such a good. It's just such a good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we're always on the same page with this. But we'll say out loud, like they never make it make sense. It's so easy to check under the hood, especially with this blatant like disregard from even caring about hiding things with this administration. It's so you don't even have to look under the hood. Just look at what they're telling you. Like they don't give a shit. They think they either think you're dumb or you're just gonna go along with it. They don't care. One of the two, man. One of the two. Okay. Anyways, next thing. Big crybabies all over the place about this. But you shared it, my guy. So go ahead with the gerrymandering in Texas and all that stuff.
Yeah. So if I worry about democracy, the future of democracy in this country, I'm more worried about the second topic than I am the first. Although I understand why people, especially because Trump acts like an authoritarian a lot of the time, I understand why people worry about the military hitting U.S. city streets. But if we do lose our democracy, it feels like this is where it starts. And this is just an article about frustrated voters who are, their districts are just absolutely getting steamrolled right now, because it's just blatant gerrymandering, which it started in Texas. Trump placed a phone call because apparently he heard from Mike Johnson that if the Dems win a majority in the House in 2026, they're going to impeach him again. So I don't know if that was what sort of spurned him to do this, but he calls Texas and he goes, hey, listen, we understand that you guys will unashamedly do whatever I ask you to. Can you redraw some districts so we get 5 more seats in the House in 2026? And I forget, what's the fucking governor's name of Texas, the dude in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
Abbott, Greg Abbott.
There it is. Greggy boy.
Greg Abbott wiping the... Let's not get too gross here, but he's basically cock gobbling, and he's just doing whatever Trump wants. Yes, sir. He's taking his fucking marching orders, and now they are shamelessly and just clearly transactionally changing their districts here because they want those seats, and they're gonna get those seats.
Yeah. Well,
and I also saw.
we'll see.
I've seen this. I've seen. Yeah. Well, true. I mean, it depends on how hard the vote split in 26.
Right.
They could over-leverage themselves.
Sure, exactly. But go ahead.
But it seems like I saw an article that said if
T- t-
everybody goes this route, if every single state like
sure.
just unabashedly redraws districts, you could have a Republican House for decades, just not changing hands ever, which is
That's
insane to me.
interesting to me because Republicans have gerrymandered more in the last 15 years. There are some Democratic ones, no doubt, but in general, Democratic places are where independent districts were kind of set up more so, if not also. I don't even know any, like, maybe some red, I don't know. And in general, Republicans kind of drew like insane lines. So they're already gerrymandered in a way. Does that make sense? So that's, I mean, I'm not disputing it. That's interesting to me. Because California, someone drew a map where they could have every single person a Democrat from California if they drew lines. Because California is enormous. And, dude, Democrats win their, like, even bad ones, 6 to 3.5 million votes. That's enormous. That's enormous. So someone was like, you could just draw 50 here. So between those two things, that's interesting to me. But the point still stands that it's not going to end well. Can I ask you why you're more worried about gerrymandering, which would still give you a way to vote, but diluted and pissed away a little bit, but still gives you the ability? Well, no. Never mind. I was going to say, as opposed to the first topic, scares you more about democracy. But again, I don't think the first topic means all of a sudden Trump is going to declare martial law at some point. I'm not there. So.
Yeah, neither am I. That's kind of why I'm not really worried about that first one.
Mm-hmm.
This, to me, is where you get locked into a certain political hegemony that never changes. And it doesn't stop here, right? Like, if you start gerrymandering just so unabashedly like this, you're going to do more than just this. Like, this is just... The fact that they can do this so out in the open, as transactional as they are now, whereas before there was kind of this aura of, well, we're redrawing districts and we only do it every so often, blah, blah, blah. Because apparently Texas does it every 10 years with the census, which I think most states probably do that, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of assuming there, but
yeah,
this is
because
in the middle of the
because
decade.
your population ebbs and flows, so you'll have to maybe eliminate one, add one, eliminate two, add three, whatever. Yeah.
Like, this is just so openly transactional that it doesn't end here. The second that this is okay to do, we're fucked.
Yeah, and it sucks because it feels like sometimes you hear that things can be forced with a certain number of people in the House, even without the speaker. So if enough Republicans in blue states just held hands with Democrats, why don't you just pass a law outlawing it on a federal level and just everything's an independent no matter what? It's like too bad.
Which is, to be fair, most voters want that. Right. Most voters are not on board with gerrymandering.
So I don't know how that doesn't happen, but I also think back to the time when, and I don't often do this, but when I do, I get very frustrated. I think back to the time of 2009 to 10 when Democrats had literally like fucking 60 senators even, and an enormous House majority when Obama swept into power. And I don't know if it was a supermajority. I don't even know how that works or if they were at that. But, in the Senate, is that it? Yes, that is one in the Senate, correct? Yes, I think that's correct.
If you have 60 in the Senate, you have a supermajority because like nobody can filibuster.
I need to go back to that time and like see how all this stuff doesn't get done. Like, you don't have just a game plan, especially after running on certain things in a democracy where you get elected. You didn't have a game plan already on like, if we get into power, like these are obvious things that pull across the board and just are generally like clear things that will help like the common man, and we're gonna just do them. Like making sure gerrymandering wasn't a thing back then and past that. Like getting money out of politics. I guess that Citizens United, I'm not sure when that happened or what they would even be able to.
2012.
Was it? That's tough.
2012, yeah. So that would have been Obama's second term. And I will say, I don't think, as frustrated as I am with Obama and like the movement he kind of wasted, in my opinion, because he had a lot of political power to flex, and they just sort of held hands in kumbaya.
Those first 2 years, yeah.
With Republicans, like, what the fuck are we doing? But I don't think he could have seen, I don't think really anybody would have seen in 2008, the right just completely steamrolling through all of the precedents that have been set, just with
Oh,
zero
yeah.
reservations.
No, that has nothing to do with him, right? Oh yeah, this is just terrible on its own. Those people
So
can be
it's
blamed.
tough
Yeah.
to, like, in 2008, you don't have a fucking crystal ball. Like, hey, maybe
No,
we should.
no, but
you know what I mean?
yes, but I wasn't even trying to frame it that way because I agree with that. I was trying to frame it in a way of like even sitting here bullshitting in the corner of somewhere that nobody cares about and they don't listen to us. We're talking about a plan and playlist of just generally good things that you should do based on how your society and your democracy is structured. How can you make that better? How can you get more people participating? How can you make things more fair? Like, that just seems like basic things you should always have, especially at political parties that are doing this every 2 years anyways. And not even just every 2 years, but every fucking year in special election, because Democrats and Republicans are just the two choices everywhere. So,
Right.
that's a failure on thinking big, in big terms, on a bigger scale. That's always in the background of, we should pass this if we had this kind of power. These things are just obvious things. It just sucks.
No, I agree. And I think from now on, if Democrats ever do take power like that again, protecting the infrastructure of democracy has to be the first thing they do. It has to be the very first thing that they do.
They're not even gonna. They're those clowns.
Well, we'll see what the Democratic Party looks like.
They can't
in
even
2 to
pass
4
a
years.
stock ban. Did they actually do that now? No, they didn't. We have Rick Scott crying about being poor. Dude, get the burn in hell. I look forward to the day that you enter the gates of Satan. But whatever, dude.
Jesus. Yeah, that guy fucking sucks. You don't think? I mean, I don't know. I do think the future of the Democratic Party looks different in 4 years' time.
Sure.
I just don't know what it looks like. And millennials, if I can just, for a moment, millennials, if you could just fucking wake the fuck up and flex your political power, that'd be great. If you could just show up to general elections, primaries ideally, but just the general election even, if you could just show up and vote, that'd be incredible. Thanks very much.
Dude, time and time again, history shows us that people never care enough. You think there's always a point where they would, and they just never get there. They never get there.
But the thing is, I understand being complacent when things are good, but things are not good. Things are objectively bad right now.
Well, I think we're entering finally some economic choppy waters, but it actually has to manifest itself, and it has to have ripple
It has to
effects.
manifest.
We're not there yet. Not there yet. We're still swimming in that gravy boat since the fucking last one, right? We're just, or actually probably since COVID, let's say, just floating along.
Yeah.
But hey,
I think
we're taking on water.
I think less.
Yeah.
I want to say less millennials voted in 24 than they did in 2020, that's crazy to me.
It's not crazy in the sense that COVID was in the middle. We was in the middle of COVID in 2020, so that was actually the thing that lit a fire for people. And then the gravy boat came from Biden. Biden gravy boat. We all felt it. We all got real. I'm just kidding. But things have to really collapse, and that's the only thing. Because otherwise, I never see it. The economy
there's two options.
Yeah, not collapse, but it has to take a hit. But yeah.
When somebody is wallowing in just poverty like that, you have two options. You either become very politically engaged or you completely disconnect. I'm really hoping that first one.
Some people do disconnect. That's true. Yeah, right. You just need more to actually but more will participate than otherwise. It just will.
I fucking hope so, man.
But you're right that it doesn't drive every single one. There's no time you're gonna get every single one. It's like George and Matilda living in the woods never vote. It's like, okay, I don't think we're ever gonna get them to do that.
It's true. They don't have running water, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Mr. Beast, go dig him a well. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, anyways.
What are we doing? What are we doing building wells in Africa? We need clean water in America.
Go to Flint. Sheesh. No, but I did see that their pipes are finally, whether they replaced them or something, their pipes are finally all set or something like that.
Ooh, Trump just signed an executive order to put the lead back in the pipes in Flint, Michigan.
Dude. Everybody saw that if we went back to leaded gas, it would cut the price in half, and everyone was like, let's do it anyways. It's like, oh boy.
Wait a minute.
Real stupid again. Lead
does make gas more efficient.
You ever seen them charts?
It's true.
You ever seen them charts?
It's
where
true.
Like lead, gas.
I have.
Birth, age, IQ, something crazy like that. Lead exposure in last century rank IQ scores of half of Americans. Bro.
Yeah. It's not good. Lead is not good for you.
That was a paper published by Duke. So there you go.
It's funny. At my place of work, these past 8 weeks, I've been very involved in the chemistry there.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 weeks ago, I realized that the stabilizers that we handle often that go into the baths is lead. Lead is the stabilizer. I was like, oh, that's good to know. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Just been spilling this shit on my hands. I'm sure I'm dumber now.
If
for sure have lost at least a couple
doing
IQ points.
experimentations, you will be handling things that aren't necessarily handled by the general public, as they should not be.
True.
So, yeah.
So I was speed running the boomer experience, and it's not great. It's not great.
No, but hopefully you don't feel any. If you get real stupid, it'll be documented on here anyways, so that'll actually be enjoyable. But
there we go. We have a baseline.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go.
But yeah,
all right, let's go to the. Oh yeah, go ahead. Any other thoughts here? Gerrymandering bad.
Just to put a bow on it, this is the thing that worries me the most. Is the second I understand things aren't great right now anyway, as far as like our democratic institutions are concerned, but this is the thing that worries me the most.
And let's be clear, why are you worried? Is it because we could gerrymander ourselves into just one party rule, which is bad? Because I agree if that's what you're saying.
One party rule, yeah, but also I do think this is the start of more shamelessly removing people's representation in government. So it's not necessarily the end, just because we're gerrymandering like this now, but I do think that this leads us down a path of losing true democracy. And everybody knows when you can't flex your power at the ballot box anymore, there's only one more response you can do. And
which I feel like I'm sympathetic to what you're saying, because
violent.
If you could gerrymander things into one party rule anyways, you've already ruined democracy. So it doesn't, because I kept thinking of what you're saying in the way of, we'd lose our right to vote, but that's not even true. You could keep your right to vote, but then it's so diluted and pissed away in a system that doesn't, then you still lost it. You can vote, you can smile and vote, but it don't mean shit. Yeah.
Especially when the one party rule is the party that is just throwing gas on the fire. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It just accelerates it more and more that you're never going to see power swing anywhere else. So at that point, you might as well just get rid of your democracy, because who gives a fuck anyway?
We need Donald Trump to not admire Kim Jong-un. It's not good.
True. And Vladimir
Did you
Putin.
know their parliament is all his party? It's not good. It's not good. Okay.
Is that right? That does sound correct.
Yeah, I do think they have some parliament. Dude, there's a lot of authoritarian states that have a parliament, but it's like, everybody's from my party. And they all won 100% of the vote. At least Vladdy P is like, I won 75? And everyone's like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Like when you cheat on the test, you gotta just get a B-. You don't give yourself an A+.
Yeah,
Too obvious.
No voting by mail. That shit is, anyways. Yeah.
Bro, that'll shoot. I can't. If they do that, that's gonna shoot themselves in the foot. So
I feel like we've had conversations. Yeah, because we've been through this because of COVID. We've had conversations where we were like, I'm pretty sure I've seen data that says like in a lot of places, if not all, totaled up, Republicans vote more by mail. So
100%.
Okay.
Because they're old.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're old, and getting to the fucking ballot box is just hard to do if you're old.
Right. So
leaving your house is hard to do when you're old.
Good luck.
Fucking not. Yeah, I don't.
Good luck.
And again, I never want to
Have we thought through the consequences of the action? Go ahead, sir.
I'm never going to advocate people losing their access to voting, but it's so funny to me that would shoot himself in the foot. Like, I can't help but laugh at that.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, carry on.
Same thing with let's tie it up with this. Same thing with gerrymandering in Texas, when you're kind of already gerrymandered and you try to get some more competitive districts, but you get a little more Democrats because of the energy in 26 than you thought, and you lost a bunch of them. Anyway,
right. Some margins are too thin.
Yeah. All right, let's do the last one real quick. I don't even have that much to say on this. It's It's one of those things that we always hear. I'm sure you always hear. So I read this headline and I was like, what is this? And it's Queers for Palestine blocked a pride parade. And they demanded like boycott what the BD is a BDS where you just like, oh, we should be boycott demonstration hall and commit to an ongoing cultural and academic boycott of Israel, which I don't know if that means because I picked this, I want to go into it just for a sec. I don't know if that means like they know that Pride Ottawa like interacts and takes money from Israel. I guess I wouldn't be that surprised knowing that they just try to pay off a lot of people for influence culturally anyways, but I would be surprised, right, that like some pride movement in a random Canadian city would have like Israel money. So in the first place, I don't know what they're trying to achieve here as far as energy used to stop and cancel this event for this cause. But I do know that, you always see the chatter online, oh, Queers for Palestine feels ridiculous, right? Because obviously Islam disagrees with the freedom to be queer, which is bad.
Yep.
But obviously Palestinians can still be innocent people.
Yeah.
And every society has queer people, whether you want to deny the fact that they exist or not. They just do. So obviously they deserve support. So I almost feel like I read this and I wanted to have a conversation about how stuff like this is just bad faith all around. And I just feel like it's always used to kind of push people, like, because you can see what I'm kind of doing here, and if disagree with me if you want, but you can see, of course you can see an avenue for which Queers for Palestine does exist. They have legitimate feelings of support for the innocent people that exist in any society, to include the Palestinian society. But then they'll be like, well, it's a majority Islam society, whatever that means. I don't know specifically what it means for Palestine, right? But there's always little kernels of like, try to hear each other out, and like there's always, rarely will you find anyone in like complete bad faith. So there's the bad faith is the takes on this stuff trying to divide us, I would say, when you can always see. But yeah, I don't know. I do think, all that being said, and if you have thoughts on it, let me know in a sec. But I do think, again, if they don't take any money or have anything to do with Israel, I'm not sure why they would try to like cancel a parade. But yeah, go ahead. Any thoughts? Any thoughts at all?
As far as I understand, there were certain sponsors of Pride that pulled back because of criticism. I guess Capital Pride is the organization that puts it on. They put out a letter in 2024 condemning both the acts of terrorism committed on October 7th and Israel's endless and brutal campaign in Gaza. So because they put on the parade,
isn't that fine to say? Sorry, go ahead.
Of course that's fine to say.
Right? I mean, both things can be true kind of thing. Sure.
The fact that it's the Jewish Federation of Ottawa called the statement anti-Semitic.
No, it's not.
I guess
that's
false. To read the whole letter, but if what they're quoting up here is all that it is, the fact that that's anti-Semitic is such a fucking bullshit response.
No, that's false. Yeah, right. You're right. You'd have to read the whole thing, and I haven't. But come on, that's not.
Yeah, that's absurd. But apparently, so the Jewish Federation of Ottawa called it anti-Semitic, said it would boycott the parade in response, which is, I mean, I'm sure that didn't do much. But as a result, there must have been some pressure in the background because sponsors withdrew their support from the Pride Month event.
So were those sponsors Israel involved, and then they withdrew, or like what is the?
It's tough because all you need is like
Shame
investment groups.
Yeah.
Investment groups. All they have to do is put a little bit of pressure. Somebody makes a phone call. They don't like something they think that is anti-Semitic to some person who has money or power, and then a phone call gets made to someone else, and all of a sudden some sponsors get dropped. Right?
I see. So they made the statement, and then a group calls them out for anti-Semitism, and then contacts the but then they're taking flack from all sides, because then Queers for Palestine show up on the other side. So you're kind of just taking bullets from everywhere. From a statement that is
Yes.
objectively like the most lukewarm statement you could make. Like, both of these are true. Here you go. Like,
Right.
okay, like this is where, and I'm
Right.
glad this came up. I'm glad you said all this, because this is where you start to feel like you lose your mind. It's like, we're not actually Queers for Palestine. We're not actually saying that the acts of terrorism committed on October 7th, like, were justified. That's right. Like, we're not. I'm sure that person, let's play devil's advocate, and or whatever the fuck you want to call it, they would say like, well, they're being oppressed by Israel, and you know, that's fine, but like, killing people is acceptable sometimes. Like, I don't. That's tough. We live in our bubble, but that's tough. But then the same thing. It's like, really, like, it's anti-Semitic to say that Israel is being fucking complete and utter douchebags in Gaza. Like, no, they are horrible. They are. Like, I am very sympathetic to the term genocide. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Um.
lukewarm statements.
Well, just
are
to
now
be clear,
controversial.
the killing of civilians is almost never justified. Ever.
It's period. Not almost. Period. Never ever. Period. Never ever. Never ever.
Would you defend?
Because in the same vein, let's talk about it. The government of Hamas and the government of Israel doesn't represent every single person in those societies. And innocent people in Gaza have died. And innocent people in Israel that might not have been part of the government or support the right-wing government might have been murdered that day on October 7th. Like, that's not right. That's not right.
It was mostly, as far as I understand, it was mostly civilians who died on October 7th.
Whatever. Even if you killed all right-wingers that were part of government, but if you were doing it blindly, that's not correct. That's bad. You're going to kill... They kill people at a music festival? That's bad.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what you're saying to me. That's bad. But it's the same thing within Gaza. Like, you're killing... Dude, these starving children, even starving adults that we're seeing. Oh, it's disgusting. That's bad.
It's awful.
This is... What kills
especially
me, and I'm going to
know...
go on a tangent here. Oh, go ahead. No, I'm going to stop myself.
Well, I was just going to say, especially when you know that the famine is manufactured. Right?
Dude,
it's not that there's not enough.
That's so disgusting.
It's that they're not letting the food in. And when you see a picture of a starving child, anybody whose heart doesn't cry slightly at the image of a starving child is somebody that is completely lost. I'm sorry.
You're Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, go away.
Yeah.
That's horrible. What do we, like... No doubt, dude. Never let them, and by them, I mean conspiracy. Never let them take away from you the understanding that inside of every society that has power concentrated somewhere, that's what you're seeing most of, are innocent actual people who live and wake up every day, try to provide for their families, and do what they can, and go to sleep. Every single society. I don't give a fuck. If someone tells you all Israelis are bad, that's not correct. That's not correct. You could tell me 95% of Israelis are disgusting human beings that support a right-wing regime that are doing disgusting things, and there's still 5% of people that are not that. So,
sure.
Yeah. Never let them take that away. Same thing with, Palestinians. They always try to. Never let them take it away.
Yeah, most people just get caught in the fucking middle of it, unfortunately.
Correct. And then we also get brainwashed, so some people end up having bad opinions, and it's true because there's so many. Dude, I see these freaking people do random interviews on the streets of Israel, and the shit that people say is horrible, dude. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but oh my fucking god, dude.
I have not.
Nasty brainwashed people that think that just like all Gazans are disgusting human beings that need to like. It's honestly, it's sad because they took that from you. What they took from these people is the idea that you can love other human beings unconditionally because most of them are just trying their best. Don't let them take that from you. Never let them take that from you. So, sucks to see. Same thing goes for Islamic countries, right? You get obviously you can get a bunch of brainwashed people for whatever reason. Religion mostly there, but just taking freedoms away from people, being hateful. No thanks.
It is wild to see the group that was targeted during World War II that was systematically being erased. Like this, the irony of this will never be lost on me. And they're trying to do the same thing to the Palestinians. What are we, 80 years later? I know. That's crazy.
I know it's happened in history before like that, but I don't know if it's been this, maybe short of a time span even. I don't know. But, I'm sure it's happened in history before where the roles flip, but it is.
It just makes you realize that history truly is cyclical. It's like human society has to absolutely go to its worst excesses every now and again to remind us of the things that we shouldn't be. For some fucking reason.
I
We
know.
can't remember these lessons that we should have learned 1,000 times already.
Dude, and
We have to keep experiencing it to understand why it's a bad thing to be.
let's see
it's
how much
crazy
of
to me.
the right-wing fever can sweep over Europe still even. It's not going away. Like
We're not done yet.
Reform is highest in the polls now. We'll see. Because they're an unserious group of whatever. But yeah, no. And then I see an image the other day where in one of these subreddits that you post old photos, and it's like some Swedish woman from 1975 in some town square in some Swedish town, and there's like one neo-Nazi demonstrating, and the picture is of her swinging her handbag right at his head, and it's right before it smacks his fucking head. This neo-Nazi, and I'm like, let's go, girl, go ahead, do your thing. You're doing society a service. Come on now. There you go. There's another person, that neo-Nazi. They took that away from you. The idea that you can just trust people unconditionally. They took that away from you, dude. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it.
I will say too, I feel like a lot of the attitudes among certain sects of Judaism that are just, they have zero remorse for the Palestinians and what's happening right now. All of that is sort of tied into this religious concept that A, you're God's chosen people, and that B, this land is the land that God gave to you. That is very baked in to Judaism, Old Testament, all that jazz, the Torah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like they are, because there are certain conditions that are to be met, I believe, that are predicted in the Old Testament for their Messiah to return or show up, or I guess show up it would be for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're trying to make, right, like one of them is that some ancient temple will be rebuilt. I believe the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Israel right now used to be the old temple of Jerusalem. And there is some there's some prediction in the Old Testament that like when that is rebuilt into the great temple that it was, such and such our Messiah will show up, something to that effect. And it feels like a lot of that is motivating just this unapologetic attitude from, like you were saying with those street interviews. I've never seen any of those. I believe you. But it feels like it's that right-wing religious, like, affirmation of their worldview. Like,
and I think it has less to do that, and I'll speak from a rapture standpoint from the religion in our culture that kind of believes in something like that. Where it's like, I don't think that they actually believe that it's... Some people do. But I think the movement that kind of gets swept up, gaining power from the religious influence, whether it's in Israel or here, it kind of like... It's more about pushing the idea of your ideals and your religion onto other people. It's less about like, do you think they're actually making governmental decisions at a high level in Israel based on the fact that they want to build a temple because they think they'll just like disappear because Jesus comes or whatever it is? I don't know what it is, but
not Jesus.
Like,
Come on, Doug.
I don't think that's actually, at least the people that actually you can go to your local church and find some absolute person who believes in it, you know, through and through. But no, the people that actually make decisions in power are just trying to, they're just saying Christianity good and I want other people to be it, don't care, force. It's less to do with,
there are elements of Netanyahu's government that are Stephen Miller-esque, i.e., they work in the shadows, they truly believe the thing, and they are trying to make certain prophecies become true. I do think that that's a case in Netanyahu's government.
I believe you, and the shameful thing about that is, even if they got it done and built a temple, the minute whatever they expected to happen doesn't, they would make excuses and do another thing and keep being assholes. Right. It's just ridiculous, man. Come on.
Right.
But sure,
but we'll never know unless they do it. So let's.
What do you think I just said? Sure, no, you can't because there's a mosque there.
Let's get there.
I don't even know how that works because I know they're taking like West Bank too or whatever. But
because there was a point in time where
Islamic, right? Go ahead. Yeah.
Like all of this was Islamic. All of the Middle East was Islamic.
Sure.
I think Jews have lived there for a long time, but they've always had to sort of play by the rules.
Don't Jews predate Islam, but then Islam took over the region, right?
Correct. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. So Jews would have been the more OG group, I suppose, and they developed Judaism, obviously. And then Christianity showed up, and then Islam showed up, and then Islam just sort of took all of North Africa, like it just, right. And then I think for several hundred years, Israel was under, I don't know what caliphate or whatever it would have been, whatever empire it would have been, but yeah, so I think that's when they built this mosque. So this mosque has been there for a very long time, but the site that the mosque is on was also a religious site that the Great Jewish Temple was on. So for them, they have to see this mosque deleted, and they have to rebuild the temple.
Right.
But you're right, man, if we ever get to a point where that happens, and they pop the final brick in, and they apply the mortar, and literally nothing happens, I'd love to see that day.
They never make it make sense, because they would keep on preaching. They would be like, oh, well, this will not happen now. Oh, okay.
Like, telling you right now, you agree. They wouldn't just be like, oh, I guess none of this makes sense, and we're like, we got to stop practicing this. No, they wouldn't do that.
Just move the goalposts, baby.
That's how exactly. That's how it's more about just like, I think that the way I am is pure and just, and everyone should be that way, and so you're going to be now. Too bad. Don't let them take from you the freedom to be who you are. Fuck them. We don't care what they think.
Fuck them.
We don't care. All right, anyway.
Ottoman Empire. That's what it would have been. Look at that. We got there.
What are you saying about the Ottoman Empire? You had the freedom to be who you want to be? I'm not sure about that.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That is not what I'm saying. Oh, never mind. I was wrong. It wasn't even the Ottoman Empire. Look at that. I don't know history. Never mind, folks. But what I said was generally true.
Who knows? Maybe they were gay like the Romans.
Sorry?
Maybe they did let you be. Well, that's only one way to be, though. You have to let all the ways.
I thought it was wasn't it the Greeks that were gay, not the Romans?
There's been gay in every society. We just talked about this.
That's true.
It's just like, what are you talking about?
Ain't that the truth?
Gay people exist, and they everywhere. That's what it is. And if you don't know that, then you're an idiot. Like, let's speed up your brain here.